Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you may be. It's time for another exciting adventure into science here at Ace Academy. Live from the Brenna Bunker in the kind of quarantined Southeast United States. Hey, it's 8th grade science. So today we're talking about energy resources. We're starting a new unit. For those of you who haven't taken the test yet, remember it closes out on Friday. And this time there will be no extension. If you don't take the test by Friday, that's it. You will not have the opportunity to take the test. It is now Tuesday. You have 3 more days. All right, so beginning a new unit, it's energy resources. It'll be 10 days total, 9 days of instruction and a test. Assessment, sorry. So we will do this real quickly. We're not going to have, too much time working through this, and then, we'll hit the end of the quarter pretty much right after that. This will be fairly short, but basically it's talking about energy and where we get energy from on Earth here. So today it says, I can identify the sources of energy used by organisms. So first of all, let's remember the one thing. It says all energy on the Earth comes from the sun. Straight up. Everything we know do and have anything to do with energy-wise starts with the big yellow thing up there in the sky, the sun. All energy comes from the sun. Without the sun, there'd be no Earth. Without the sun's gravity, the Earth would not have formed. So, without that big star up there, the entire planet that we stand upon would not exist. So, there would be no life on Earth as we know it. So, electromagnetic radiation, remember electromagnetic, everything, all the energy travels in the form of a wave. In the form of infrared visible light, energy transfers energy from the sun to the Earth. We do get energy in other ways, but it's not quite the transfer as those two different ones. Infrared, which is heat energy, when you go out in the sunlight and it feels warm, that's infrared energy. And the visible light, the fact that we can see, that's another type of energy. And visible light does contain energy. Transfers that energy from the sun to the Earth. When that energy gets here, it's used by the Earth and its inhabitants to perform their life processes. These inhabitants are born, grow, and die daily in an ever-changing world. The Earth uses this energy to provide a variety of resources that living things use, change, and reuse. Well, what's a resource? Resources are materials or substances such as minerals, forests, water, and fertile land that occur in nature and can be used for economic gain. I'll read that again. I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to highlight this next thing too. This is an important group of statements here. Resources are materials or substances such as minerals, forests, water, and fertile land that occur in nature and can be used for economic gain. Resources are characteristics and substances that exist without actions of humankind. Why do I say characteristics? Well, because the characteristic is such as magnetism, gravity, electrical properties, these kind of things. Those are characteristics. They're not really, I can't hold gravitation in my hand. Well, unless I was Darth Vader, then but anyway, I can't hold I can feel gravity as something's being pulled down and holds, I have to work to hold it up, but I can't literally hold gravity in my hand. So that's why I say, we say characteristics. So in substances are, a substance is a thing. So, so a powder, it's a substance, powdery substance, it's a solid substance, it's a liquidy substance. Substance is just is something. So it exists without actions of humankind. So when you're sitting around and you're just looking at stuff outside, you didn't plant the forest just was there. That's without actions of humankind. So you look at a garden, you're like, well, that was actions of humankind, so that wouldn't have normally occurred. But you look at a forest and just generally wild areas, as we call them, they pretty much that's things that exist without the actions of humankind. So again, magnetic, gravitational, electrical properties and forces all fall into the natural, are resources and they are naturally occurring resources. So you just kind of keep that in the back of your mind, but they're not quite what we're going to talk to, for the next couple of weeks. So on Earth, also includes the sunlight. It is a resource. The atmosphere, the air we breathe, kind of necessary, and it is a resource. It exists naturally. And we weren't here. We didn't create the atmosphere. The atmosphere was here first. Water, same thing. It was here. Land, including all minerals, along with all vegetation, crops, and animal life that naturally subsists upon or within the previously identified characteristics and substances. So basically, let's just think of it this way. If you can imagine us traveling, have the ability to travel through space very quickly. So we're gonna use our ability to travel to another star system. We find another planet on it, orbiting a star that has water and life on it, but no humans or other sentient species. We're not going to go down there and kick off the predominant species because they haven't evolved past the Stone Age. We're not going to go down to conquer them and use them in any way or anything. We just happen to stumble across a planet that has no true sentient or um, things we would call like human beings are sentient. Apes are semi-sentient. Dolphins are semi-sentient. They're almost intelligent. They're intelligent in their own ways. Animals, but they are almost intelligent in the way like humans are intelligent. So they call them semi-sentient. But we don't find anything on this planet that's anything close to sentient. It doesn't, go, I think, therefore I am. Nope, none of that. There's just animals. So we stumble across this planet, and then of all the things we find on the planet are considered natural resources. Because again, go back to this definition. Characteristics and substances that exist without the actions of humankind. Well, humans haven't been to this planet. There's nothing on this planet that resembles or has the same spot in evolution as humans. There's nothing. So no thing living thing directed the existence of these resources. All the things that we find there are considered natural resources. The trees, the fruits, the grains, the minerals, the ores, and the metals, all these are naturally occurring and available to be used by someone. Because again, resources or materials or substances such as minerals, forest, water, fertile land that occur in nature and can be used for economic gain. If I can't use it to do something that's useful to me, so economic gain, again, anything that has use to me is an economic gain because it makes my life easier and I can focus on other things and actually so economic doesn't just mean I get paid for it with cash. Economic means I've provides a certain something to me that I need. So to me that's economic gain as an individual. So all these things are naturally occurring and available to use by somebody. Oh, excuse me. If we find a tree that's producing a fruit we have never seen before, we pick one and eat it, we have consumed a resource. If it doesn't kill us and it tastes good, we're likely to pick another fruit and eat it as well. It's always the danger when you visit new planets, is that the fruit looks good, smells good, tastes good, but then kills you. That's why you have scientists along test things like that. But on occasion, people just pick stuff and eat it. That happened when Europeans were exploring the world back in the sailing ship days, and sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But anyway, so it doesn't kill us, and it tastes good, and we pick another one and eat it. We continue to consume the resource. We show it to the rest of the crew, and they like it as well. Over the course of days, we figure out there are no poor effects of consuming the fruit. It doesn't give us the runs, it doesn't back us up, it doesn't make us break out in hives. Hey, guess what? This is pretty good stuff. So we as an entire crew start picking the fruit, and then we see it and are storing it. We're using the natural resource. We're consuming it. Now, if the trees continue to bloom and make more fruit, then what would we classify this resource as? It renews itself through its own biological processes. Renews. So it is a renewable natural resource. Oh, actually, I have to get the R in there. Actually, It renews itself through its own biological processes. It's a renewable natural resource. Now, is there a chance that we could pick too much of the fruit? The trees would not be able to perform enough new trees to replace the older trees that die, so their population gets smaller and smaller as the older trees die, but not enough new, young trees are, sprout up and are born to continue, keep the grove at the same size. So if we did that, so could that happen? Yeah, sure. So even though the fruit is a renewable resource, we can over-harvest the fruit, which leads to an unsustainable tree population. So the tree population declines. It's unsustainable. If it keeps going down that road, it will eventually reach zero. The trees start dying, and there are not enough young trees to keep the growth the size we found it. This is called depletion. So even a renewable natural resource can suffer from what we call depletion if we use it at a rate higher than it renews itself naturally. Happens. Can happen while we try to work on that kind of stuff. We use so much of the resource, it was unable to sustain its capability to renew itself. Now, as we continue to explore this new world, we find an outcropping of rock that has gems in it. So we send these gems back to our lab on our ship, and they find out they have amazing energy containing properties. We're like, ooh, this is good stuff. We can use these gems to do all kinds of neat stuff. We send down equipment and start mining the gems. Once we take the gems out of the ground with our mining equipment, do the gems grow back like the fruit on the tree? No. Gems are formed by natural geological processes over. So we consider this a non-renewable natural resource. Whatever natural process that made the gem happen over a very long period of time is not going to produce another gem while we're around to get it. There's a finite, which means a limited number. There's only so many on this entire planet. It could be a lot, but I mean, there's only so many. However many it contains right now, that's all it's going to have while we, are still living as a species. Because the natural processes that make things like gems and coal and oil and all that stuff take millions of years. And for those of you, human beings have only been around for maybe about, maybe. So by the time a new gem is formed, we ain't gonna be around to find it. So there's a finite number of gems available on this planet, and once we find them all and mine them, no more will exist. When a resource, natural or otherwise, is no longer available, it is said to be depleted. When something is depleted, it is all gone, as far as we know. So unless you find another reserve of it somewhere that was unknown at the time, that thing is gone. It's depleted. We've used it all up. So we have natural resources. We have the ability, the renewable natural resources. We have non-renewable natural resources. Non-renewable natural resources. Because it doesn't grow back. So a renewable resource is something that typically is alive. Trees, grass, animals, because animals are renewable natural resources. Chickens, pigs, cows, goats, anything that we literally consume as food. Well, if you're in China, bats and snakes and all kinds of other stuff. But we're not in China, so we don't consume those things here. But again, in other places, other things, fall into that category. Things we consume, but guess what? We actually grow them places, on called farms in order to harvest them and eat them. And you can harvest animals just like you harvest, the wheat. Harvest just means, take in for, food purposes kind of thing. So you have renewable resources, things that grow and reproduce on their own, as long as you don't overtake. If you take too much and you take more than the population is able to sustain, then you start, you're depleting the resource to the point where it will go to zero. And then you have non-renewable, natural resources, things that exist that, yes, you can go and get. And remember, they do have, a resource is something that has, you can use for economic gain. So, we're digging this stuff out of the ground that we're going to use for something. Again, that's an economic gain. But then once we dig it all up and there is no more left, we have depleted that natural resource. It won't exist again while we're alive. So now, but again, planets are big places, and they find stuff all the time now that we thought we wouldn't find again. But that's just kind of things that happen. So let's kind of wander back to our fruit example. So in traveling to our gem mine, we find another grove of fruit trees. We have plenty back at the base camp, so we do not bother this group of trees and the fruit. We do watch those native animals climb in the trees and eat the fruit. We do some tests on the trees and find that they operate in the same way trees do on Earth. They get their energy from the light provided by the sun, their sun. They take this light energy and use it to power their biological processes. They then pass on this energy to the next trophic level organism on the plant through the consumption of the fruit. The animal is eating the fruit, then receives the energy contained within the fruit that the plant built with energy it received from the star that shined on it. Big, long way of saying the sun made the plant grow, the plant grew, the animal ate the thing that the ate part of the plant, received energy from it. So the animal effectively received its energy from the sun. So again, we receive all this energy from the sun. We use, whether we being the planet, everything on it, and then they, the different things on it use that energy, and then other things on the planet consume and use the energy that exists in the environment, and they pass it on from one to another, and as they say, reuse it. So animal, like those on Earth, uses the energy from the natural resource to provide for its own life processes. The same thing occurs on Earth. All organisms on Earth, including humans, use energy derived from resources provided by the environment. All organisms on Earth, including humans, use energy derived from resources provided by the environment. Make sure you remember that. Where does the energy come from for people and things on Earth? The sun. How does the sun transfer that energy? Electromagnetic radiation in the form of infrared and light energy. And then the things on the Earth receive that energy and do their own life processes. And all organisms on Earth, including humans, use energy derived from the resources provided by the environment. When we eat the wheat in the form of bread, we're getting energy derived from a resource that we got from the environment. Because as humans, we don't get energy directly from the sun. Only plants do that. But also, plants get, they use the energy from the sun to do their biological process, but they got to get water, they got to get the nutrients from the other parts of the environment in order to live. Very few things can operate solely by absorbing energy from the sun. They still have to take in other things, which again are using resources from their environment. So, short lesson today. Just again, remember what resources are. What a renewable resource, a non-renewable resource, and the fact that all organisms on Earth, including humans, use energy derived from resources provided by the environment, both renewable and non-renewable. So again, short lesson. So remember, like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or anything else, please call me or text me, 704-363-9034. If you're like, hey, I don't want to bother Mr. Brennan, please, you are not bothering me. I'd rather answer your question now than, wait till somebody's like, oh my gosh, I had this question, I forgot to ask it, and got all this work built up and I can't do it. Just call or text me. Lots of your friends have. Leave me. Talk to your friends. Oh yeah, I talked to Mr. Brennan, he's fine. It's cool. We catch him doing all kinds of weird stuff. I'm out on a walk. I'm riding my bike. Playing with the dog. All kinds of stuff. You get the little picture of my life if you get a hold of me. So don't be afraid. Just give me a buzz. No questions or I don't have a problem answering questions. 704-363-9034. Just remember, so 10-day unit. So today's day 1. On day 10, we'll have a test. So basically 10 days from now, I'll have another assessment. So again, if you put this assessment off till this Friday, you're going to have another one following, 7 days later, on this unit as well. So Don't put the test off that you're currently supposed to be working on too much longer. Please get that done. All right. I hope everybody has a great day today. I hope you guys have a great day again tomorrow. Remember to get your work done. If you do something that has already been graded, please text me that you did it, because I'm not going to go back through and hunt through every one of these things for 4 entire blocks. Oh, did anybody check, redo one of these? Did anybody redo one of these? No, I only go back and regrade stuff that you text to me that you redid. So yes, you must contact me if you're redoing work that has already been graded. No problem. Just do it. Let me know. I'll regrade it. Put the grade, put that grade in. It is not an issue. I've had students send me just pictures on, from, hey, I redid the, I redid this, and they just screenshot whatever it was and text it to me. So just give me the information. All right. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to y'all later.